Don't throw me into that.
You threw me into that. Why'd you ask?
Because you seem like you want to go.
Well, I don't want to, but I will.
What's up, Lightweights audience? Today we have a very special guest, one of my favorite bands, Waterparks, the lead singer, Austin Knight. We don't have to talk about it.
No. It's good. I'm just trying to think of what I can and can't say, because I have gotten cease and desist things before.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God.
They have 5 studio albums, have been a band for almost 10 years, and have one of the best live performances I've ever seen.
Nickelback did the same thing. You know what they did?
No.
Okay, so check this out.
Spill it.
I will. They
We talk Austin's clothing line, updates with the band and where they're at for touring this year. T. Artists he's worked with like One Direction and Black Bear, and it's all around a killer episode. I remember artists used to have to pay to be the opener band. Is that still a thing?
Only if you're like a broke-ass headliner. I'll tell you something.
So if you're new here, my name is Joe. Thank you so much for coming to the Lightweights Podcast. Make sure to subscribe, leave this video a thumbs up, and comment down below who else you want me to have on the pod. Love you guys. Enjoy. Who do you think had the best music comeback?
Fall Out Boy.
Really?
Well, let me explain.
Please.
Best. I mean, like, his best is such a vague word, but I think that Fall Out Boy made my favorite albums of theirs after their hiatus. And they had they were so much bigger afterwards. They had like massive radio stuff. Like they were so much bigger when they came back, and I also just liked it better. And this is going to be a hot take that people don't like, but I think their best album is Save Rock and Roll, like as far as like well-rounded stuff. But my favorite songs of theirs are on American Beauty, American Psycho. But the one that I feel like I've revisited the most for whatever reason is Mania.
What a hot take.
It's a hot take, but it's mine, so.
And what's your thoughts on Take This to Your Grave?
It's fine. Like, I always thought it was like good, but it was never like, oh, like I'm not a rarely do I think somebody's first album is their best. And that's why it bums me out when alternative music is framed in this way of it's only valuable in its nostalgia and like its memories and shit. You know what I mean? So when somebody does put out a new album, I'm rooting for them because I don't like how, I don't know, it's like, oh, I remember that. It's like it puts alternative bands in general in like it frames them as like a past thing rather than something that can still move things forward.
Right, because isn't that just...
Dude, 10-year tours are the most valuable. Like, I'm sure if we decide to go like Double Dare 10-year, like, you know, whenever that happens, no matter what's going on, that would probably sell quicker than what's going on like currently. And the thing is, if I saw that happen, I think I would quit. You know what I mean? If I feel like, I mean, and you know, obviously people's business is their business, and I'm not here to fucking knock that or whatever, but I think that if I'm not, like, if I'm getting fucking outwritten by like 22-year-old me, fuck that. You know what I mean? I'm like, if I got worse, I'm out. So that was a good jumping in point.
I love that because you always say, yeah. One time you said that your newest should be your most heartfelt, should be your most talented, because
it should be like your best.
Right.
By far. It should be the best songs. Like, it should be like the best vocal patterns, the coolest lyrics, the best visuals. Like, and the thing is, we've managed, I don't want to fucking jinx it or anything. You don't have any wood I could knock on, but fucking auto. But I mean, every release we've done has sold more than the last one first week.
That's amazing.
It's great. And that's the thing. It's like, and ticket sales, like, dude, this tour we're about to go on, like, every tour we've done for this album has done more ticket sales even than any fucking tour. Like, the one that we're going on in like 6 weeks or whatever, the Sneaking Out of Heaven tour, plug. But that one that we're going on, it doesn't even start for 6 weeks. And it's already sold more than like the entire Fandom tour sold. The entire See You in the Future tour, which is the Greatest Hits tour. Like, it sold more than both of those, like, by the time both of them were complete. By like I think we're like 9,000 more, and it's still that far away.
When someone does that, does the booking agency try and bump up the venue? Or
yes. So that's the thing. Like, with the Property tour, because both of these are from this album. This next one is just kind of it's like just a bigger and better, cooler version, and it's going to be very different. Because I hate when bands come through and play the same set, so that's not going to happen either. But like with the Property tour, it was crazy because, you know, we did all the venues that we would normally do, like with the other albums, and all of them sold out. You know what I mean? Or the entire thing was 98% sold out total, which is crazy. We've never done anything close to that. Actually, maybe on like the Double Dare one when all the capacities were like 250. You know what I mean? Like real small stuff. But with the property tour, every show except for Vancouver and Milwaukee, it was either 2 or 3 shows that weren't completely sold out, but like one of them was like 98%. I was just like, fuck. But because I'm like our booking guy's like, dude, 98 is sold out. I'm like, calm down. Like, we got to finish the back of that balcony, that kind of thing. But no, that's why it's cool to see. And like, I still feel good doing it because it's still going up every single time. So now this one, they did move us up venues. Like,
does that make you happy? Or
I don't know. Cause like, I don't feel, and this is a me thing. This isn't even like on paper, it still looks amazing and it doesn't make sense to feel this way, but I'm like, I want everything I do to be A++. I want it all to be a fucking 100% sold, whatever. But I'm like, at the same time, we've never sold 3,600 tickets in Denver. You know what I mean? So I'm saying like, that's a tall order. We're like, that one's not sold out. You know what I mean? But the venues have all moved up and it is selling about the same as the last one. It's just the rooms are so much bigger, going from like Irving Plaza to like Terminal 5 in New York. You know what I mean? Or like the Boston House of Blues, that one was crazy. And we filmed a DVD and shit there. But that was like 2,500. This next one's supposed to be like, I think it's like 4,000. So I'm just like.
Do you get nervous performing in front of 4,000 people?
It's easier.
Because there's less connection?
Yeah, like, because I went and did this, my favorite venue in the world, Warehouse Live.
Where's that?
Houston. It's our like hometown one. I used to promote outside of it multiple times a week. We played our first show there ever.
What does promoting outside mean?
I'll tell you. I want to take a sip of this. I'm not sponsored, I swear to God. Oh.
Let me just move this down. Oh, here.
I should be sponsored.
From Red Bull?
Yeah.
Did they send you anything yet?
Here's the thing. I don't want to promote something that I feel like is gonna like hurt young people's hearts.
Physically.
Yeah. Like we were sponsored by Monster once on a tour and like haven't had any sponsors since because I kept being like, don't drink this shit. But, you know, I think I saved people in the long run. Warehouse Live. So what it looks like to promote is I take my leftover money from babysitting and teaching guitar lessons, because I used to babysit for this family like every day. You know what I mean? Like they'd get home from school, I'd pick them up or whatever, make sure their homework's good, chill with them until their parents get back, and then I would go. That was like 4 years, and then I would go teach guitar lessons after that. You know what I mean? At like different people's spots, and that's how I had money, but also still had like my time. You know what I mean? So I would be like, while they're doing their homework, I'm like guessing people, like managers' emails and shit, or like making the flyers, and then for like whatever show we have coming up, and then I'd go to FedEx, you know, like Kinko's or whatever, print up however much money I have left. You know what I mean? Like from the last week, or I'm like, oh man, I've got $12. I'm like, I'm gonna get $12 of flyers made, you know, and then cut them on the dude. It got rustier and rustier over the years, like the fucking. Because I'd go to the same one usually. So, and if I had like extra money, like if I had like over $20, I'd go get blank CDs and like the little CD holders, like the paper ones. After a while, I got a stamp, but I used to like have to write like Waterparks one and like put like demos on it and like burn them while I was doing like community college homework and shit. You know what I mean? So I would take whatever supplies we have and be like, I would talk to Jeff and Otto, and to rewind, I guess, I would make a list of all the shows coming through for the next like 3 months. I'd look at every venue in Houston and be like, there could be any crossover, like here. Make the full list and be like, I need you, at least one of you with me at these.
And then you hand them out at those shows.
Yeah, and so Warehouse was a lot of them.
Whose shows would you go out in front of?
Everyone. Dude, everyone. I mean, not everyone, but if it had guitars, like, dude, we promoted in front of like Paramore shows, like stuff that makes sense like that, like Panic at the Disco, whatever. But then we also promoted in front of like Chevelle and Bush and like all these like butt rock things, and they did not like us at all. So we kind of also, it was like it was painful, but it also taught me like who our shit works in front of. You know what I mean? Anytime there's anything remotely like older, like if things had been around for a while, like if I tried to promote in front of like
Creed.
well, I was gonna say like even like a Bayside show or like Alkaline Trio or anything like that was like remotely cred, they did not want it.
Really?
Yes, but if it was in front of like I don't know, like a Fall Out Boy show or like an All Time Low show, anything like that, it would go so well. And like you could see like the social numbers go up and I'd be like, oh, we got 250 people, you know, like that kind of thing. And I'd be psyched. And honestly, I think the thing that made it work, because people are like, what'd you do? I mean, first off, it was like 4 years of that, 2012, 13, 14, 15, before anyone even like knew, before like anyone outside of Houston like caught wind of it, like industry wise. The kind of like thought that I had was if you can prove the concept in one place, you know, then it's like a viable option for other cities. You know, it can be like brought around. It can work elsewhere. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, every show we do, I'm going to book us in little rooms. You know what I mean? Like Warehouse has this room called the Green Room. And it's 130 cap or something like that. And so every show we did would be sold out because I would also go print tickets off like ticketmaker.whatever.com because the venue wouldn't even give tickets at the time, but for like shows that small. And I would straight up just go like sell to people at like malls and shit, like meet up with them like from like Instagram or whatever and be like, we're going to be here, 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 and here today. If you want tickets, like come through, you know, and every show was sold out. And then after a while, it's like, who's this band that sells out every show they do? And then we got to start opening like we got to open for, I remember we were so excited to open for Chiodos on like their comeback thing. In the middle room at Warehouse, we got to open for like Yumi at 6, Cute Is What We Aim For. There was a bunch because Warehouse would be like, oh, they do sell tickets. And so we got to keep opening for people. And then that would make more people come. And eventually we could kind of like level up the venue. And after a while, like, you know, you could post videos and be like, sold out, sold out, sold out. And then people are like, what is going on over here?
How much do you credit your hustle versus luck to where you are right now?
It's got to be both to an extent. But I mean, if I didn't do that, like it wouldn't have happened if I didn't do that. I don't think. You know what I mean? I mean, if there's like destiny and things are meant to be and blah, 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 like cool. But I think that also made me smarter and appreciate it more too, because, and I think that kind of bleeds over into how we all carry ourselves now, because it's not taken for granted. It's not some like overnight shit. It's not like, oh, they had some TikToks blow up and then some special A&R read analytics instead of fucking believing in a song or whatever. And they were like, wow, these numbers are good. Like fucking business manager shit. And, you know, get signed that way. Like that's not what it was. Like luckily, it was just like a really good timing thing. I guess there's where the luck comes in, because Benji and Joel Madden were making their company, MDDN, the management company. And like they came across, actually they said they came across, I don't know if they saw it first, but because we had just put out a music video for the song called I'm a Natural Blue, and like a few labels had liked that, and I was like, oh, this is exciting.
Oh, they started working with you that long ago.
So 2015. So it was like quiet in 2015, like nobody knew. And then we announced it at like, I think it was like November of that year. But we were still like, the thing is, we were like quiet signed. Like we were still promoting outside of shows. Just, we couldn't talk about it yet and nobody knew. So we were just like doing the local shit. We're like, well, in case all this shit, you know, falls through, everything hits the fan, we're done. At least we didn't waste a year like not promoting. You know what I mean? So
what was your first reaction when you heard the Madden brothers reach out to you?
I was at babysitting and
you were babysitting.
I was babysitting and I saw the DM and I was just like, what?
From who? Benji or Joel?
I think it was Joel. Pretty sure it was Joel. And it was just like, yo, I love your band. Like, would love to talk sometime, whatever. And I was just like, you know, because nobody, it's such a weird thing where it's so difficult to get like get love from people who are established. You know what I mean? Because some are really cool. Like if they're good with themselves, like those guys are, they're comfortable reaching out to people and being like, hey, I love what you're doing. And that's why I try and make it a point to do that, because there are also a lot of people who are like kind of scared to show that love or like put somebody on because they're like scared of losing what they have. You know what I mean? And like when you meet certain artists, you kind of, if you hang out with them for more than 30 minutes, you can kind of like understand who's who in that way. But yeah, no, they reached out and I was just like, oh my God. And we had also just signed our very first album deal. It was like a week before.
So did that timing kind of bum you out? Were you worried that it was going to interfere with something or you missed something?
No, only because I was like, well, like the thing, okay, I know, just, I understand everything so much more, obviously, like in retrospect and after. We've been on like 5 labels now. Like, I get how it all works now. You know what I mean? But back then I was like, well, we do need a management company and we do need a record label. And I also understand that, because I'd watch any interview that I could find like on YouTube to like learn. I was like, I know we need both and they need to be separate entities because legally it can't be both. So good. And then when they heard that we had already signed, they were like, oh, okay. But I mean, they stuck with us, so that's cool. You know, they could have easily been like, oh, you signed like a horrible deal. Okay, we'll be in touch. You know, that kind of thing, but it wasn't like that, so.
Was your first deal not the best for you guys?
No. We
don't have to talk about it.
No. It's good. I'm just trying to think of what I can and can't say because I have gotten cease and desist things before.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God. What I will say, because it's just, I mean, it's subjectively true. When we first signed, this company let this lawyer know that they were signing us and sent their own lawyer to negotiate our deal on our behalf.
Oh.
So their lawyer was looking over our deal from them. So, like, you know, who's he looking out for?
Right.
So, yeah, we signed a deal.
And you guys were just young and didn't even realize it?
Well, here was my thing. We had a couple people interested after, like I said, the Natural Blue video. And they were like, do you have any other demos? And I'd be sending stuff. And they're like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like that kind of thing. I want to hold your dog. But this label was the only one that was like we had ones from like cool label, you know what I mean? Like ones that I was like, oh wow, amazing. Like I was excited, dude. I remember being in my room being like, oh fuck, 2 labels, like being excited, you know? But the other ones eventually were like, so I told them, I was like, hey, I think we're gonna go with this one, whatever. And they're like, wait, don't sign. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Going from like nothing to having labels be like, wait, don't go with them. Like, let me.
Was there a bidding war?
No, it was just like because we weren't worth anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know there's stories of people. It's usually with major labels, you know, that are like have like signing wars over shit.
Like Forever the Sickest Kids, I remember that was a big one.
When they rigged Pure Volume.
Oh.
That's how they did that. They rigged Pure Volume and they made it like where they're like the most popular band in the world. And all these labels are like, oh, that must be good. You know what I mean? Like, which, I mean, good for fucking them. Like, Nickelback did the same thing. Like, I love what they, do you know what they did?
No.
Okay, so check this out.
Spill it.
I will. They used to, what was it? I don't want to tell it wrong, but they used to send their songs to radio stations and be like, all 10 of these people are already playing it, like da-da-da-da-da, and like make it seem like, or I think they would like say they were somebody that they weren't, and like basically like pressure all these people into playing it. And then they actually would get them to play it and be able to like add them to the list and then call the next radio station and be like, all these rock stations are whatever, like here's this, you should play it. And I feel like back then there was also like the payola shit still going on. Well, publicly payola, like do you know what payola is? That's where people would pay to be on the radio, but it was like low key, and they'd give them a Corolla. That's why it's called payola. They would leave the keys with like the song, like the label would, and be like, play this. And so that's how they'd get like spins and shit.
Oh.
Yeah, but then it became illegal.
Why? Because it wasn't
ethical or fair. You know what I mean? Because then, then the labels have like a monopoly. It's like a mob thing.
Has anyone figured out how to rig Spotify yet?
No. It can't be touched.
Physically impossible.
It can't be done.
That's crazy. I remember the Nickelback thing. I think they would pivot they would put the smaller labels into the bigger markets like that. And they would say, all these small towns are playing it. You guys got to play it.
Yeah. So, but I think they may have pretended to be like a label or a manager. Or like it was something like that. And I was just like, damn, it's pretty good.
Oh, that's really funny.
You know? I love stories like that. But anyway.
Do you know any other ones of like crazy music industry that's how they got their boost or how they blew up?
Well, yeah, I mean, like the Forever the Sickest Kids one's funny. You know what I mean? Or like people would do this. I think Panic at the Disco did the same thing.
What'd they do?
I'm pretty sure. I think they rigged Pure Volume plays. I could be wrong about that, or MySpace plays or something. But I feel like they found ways to boost streams before like dumb old A&Rs. Like that's the thing. A&Rs got lazy. They got lazy when
just saw the
they
numbers.
could start seeing the metrics, because then they start just basing shit off that rather than being like, I can identify what a fucking star is. You know what I mean? Like they don't. It's not like. And I'm not even here to shit. Like I like most of the A&Rs we've worked with. Like they're fine. They're good. But
can you explain what an A&R is? Because I feel like a lot of people are it, but like, how are you constantly looking for new talent?
It's such a fluid job. I feel like most jobs in music are such fluid titles.
Is it a full paycheck? Or are you getting like a portion of like what a normal?
I think it varies. I think so. It stands for artist and repertoire. Basically, you go out and you find new things to sign.
Like new artists.
New artists to sign. Yeah. And so you're supposed to be able to, you know, go to shows, go to small things, like whatever.
And you do this on your own.
Yeah, it's like
the label doesn't send you.
Well, I think you have a salary as an A&R. You know what I mean? Like and if you're not signing good shit, they'll drop you. You know, like you'll get fired. And that's why A&Rs are scared to take risks, because let's say they're like, I believe in this thing, I back it. It's my job to tell you what's coming. This is it. Push it. And if they lose a fuckload of money and like that thing just tanks, like that's bad for them too. So it's like you have to kind of understand it from both sides. You know what I mean? And that's something I kind of saw early on, was like, I want to alleviate as much risk as I can from this project. I want to show them that every show is fucking sold out. I want to show them that, you know, people, like, it's not just like internet hype. People will come to the shows.
Don't give them a reason to say no.
Exactly. It's like, make it easy for them, you know?
Right.
To like back you. Like, that's why music is in such a funny place right now, because, you know, more power to them, like, in some great art, like genuinely like good, entertaining people and artists have come out of things like TikTok and blah, blah, blah. But
who specifically in your mind?
I mean, like, I love Lil Nas X. He blew up on TikTok.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He did. Like, Old Town Road is like the biggest song of all time, and it was a TikTok thing. It was like the first one.
Are TikTok plays important to you now? Or at least to your label? Because
Yes,
when I've had people
yes.
on my podcast.
Yeah, no, they're very, very into it.
Yeah, like
the thing is, it's not a guarantee though. It's not a guarantee, because I've also seen, like, there are certain people who I'm like, dang, that's a good song, and I go check out their Spotify, and they have like, you know, 150K, 200K monthly listeners, and that's not enough to like. It's good. It's not nothing, but it's not like when you see them getting millions of hits on their TikToks, and then you see that, you're like, oh, so like there's no perfect.
Like, people don't translate over.
Right. It doesn't always translate, and like, or like, you know, there will be people with like a fuckload of Spotify monthly listeners, but then they can't draw like 300 people to a show.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'll have like 10 million and they can't do shit. That's why, like, it's funny. You see so many people do festivals instead of their own headline stuff, because I think that while Rolling Loud is like, it might be the biggest festival right now, I think when you look at that poster, I think half those people couldn't bring 500 people to a show, but they're playing in front of like 100,000 people. You know what I mean? Like when they do those things. So I feel like people try and keep up with their optics. And I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of like a fake it till you make it vibe, but it's also irritating. And I'll tell you, just to me, only because I'll say, sometimes I find things that seem small and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And I'll even reach out and be like, hey, are you doing anything this spring? Like, you know,
to an artist or to a...
I say to an artist. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'll find their TikTok and be like, this is great. I'll go to their Instagram, DM them, you know, because again, I like if more people reached out to me when we were like smaller and they were like, I love what you're doing. Like that would feel so good, especially if they're like from established acts. You know what I mean? Saying acts is hard because I want to be like acts. Yeah. Anyway, but I'd reach out and there's so many people that are like quiet signed, which is so irritating when you think you found like this cool thing, but like nobody wants to just be like, okay, so obviously fucking plants are everywhere. You know what I mean? Like some people are like, that's not a real thing. It's like,
industry plants are real?
They're so fucking real.
What does that mean?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not.
Okay. All right, fine. Okay, here we
But
go.
people are like, they're an industry plant. That just sounds like a conspiracy theory, like Bigfoot's over there.
First off, that's real too. But
Okay.
Here's the thing. What made me, it was a sad realization I had because I love conspiracy theories. But
I do too.
But the problem is working with like teams of people over the years has made me stop believing in them or believe in them less because a conspiracy theory or a conspiracy requires so many people to be on the same page and have no fuck ups. And that's just like impossible. If you have more than 10 people involved on something, something's fucked up. You know what I mean? So anyway, all that to say, plants are definitely real and people are like, it kind of leaves like a bad taste in some people's mouths where they're like, oh, I don't want to like just listen to this like plant thing where it's basically where like a label's like, hey, we're going to turn you into this and we're going to do this and we're going to get all your songs written for you and we're going to, you know, put a shitload of money into your career and make you, woo, you know, like it's like when baseball players are on like steroids and shit. You know what I mean? And after a while, they're like, hey, you can't do that. But now everyone's like quietly on steroids.
So it's like the person who has a good voice and a good look and the label's just going to push
and they're like, well, we can, the thing, well, and that's kind of what signing sort of already is, but it's where they kind of like mold them into something else. Like they see like, let's say they see a fucking kid sitting in his room playing guitar and they're like, you know, let's fucking make him like get some muscles and like take his dick out and like
he starts wearing tank tops and like chains that he wasn't wearing
we're gonna
before.
get him writing with like fucking all these people and we might even make it like a ghostwriter type thing where it's like, oh no, they do everything themselves, like it's so authentic and homegrown because people are obsessed with that shit. And
isn't that a big risk?
No, because even if they like, the thing is, if they're successful and if they're good, that's the most important thing. If they're good, no one gives a shit. You know what I mean? Like this isn't even me saying that they are, but like because I'm a fan of this person, but like when everybody was saying that about like Billie Eilish, it's like after a while, no one gives a fuck because the music is so good. Or like same with like Kid Laroi. They were like, that's like the biggest plant thing. This is some like 12-year-old in Australia. And then they fucking, you know, bring him into this thing. And it's like, you can watch, I don't want to get too into it. There's a lot of videos and stuff on it.
Yeah, I watched that one.
But people now are trying so hard to like disguise it. So what they'll do is they'll either just be like, hey, you're signed to us and we're going to quietly push you. We're going to like run ads. We're going to do all this stuff to like back you, but it's not going to say Universal under it.
It's going to have some indie label.
Yeah, and usually it's an imprint of the artists like themselves, but it's an imprint under that. You know what I mean? And like most people don't go check on that thing, but you can see in all like credits and stuff where it's really like if you dig, you can find out. I don't really care anymore. I'm just kind of like, that's a nice song and I'll listen to it. But labels are so obsessed with like disguising their signing. So anyway, all that to say, I've tried to bring people out like to open for us. And when they're quiet signed, like they can't do anything yet. Or like they'll be like, you know, basically once they go out and they're one of three on like a band tour, it kind of like sets them in the landscape rather than being like, oh, like they could be anything. They could be as big as fucking Kid Laroi. And like to people, you know what I mean? Like there's that perception. But when they're like, oh, they're one of three on this tour now, like that kind of like explains to people without saying it like where they are. And truthfully, it is where they are. They haven't done anything yet. But like a lot of people don't want to make those moves because they're like, well, if we have a song go viral and we haven't done anything yet, it's kind of like when a company is pre-revenue or something, where they're not worth. They haven't put on.
They're
paper,
worth $100 billion.
Yeah, they're worth whatever they say they're worth. You know, so
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So all that to say, Warehouse Live is shutting down.
Oh yeah,
and so I hit them up when we were in, I think Copenhagen or somewhere, UK, and I was like, hey, can we be the last people to play? Like in the green room, like where we did our first show, you know what I mean? Just like, I love full circle stuff, you know? And they were so about it. And so they let us be the last people to play that.
Oh, that's sick.
It was amazing. And I made it I was like, I don't want to charge anyone. Just like first people to RSVP, like hit this email and then that's it. But that was so much scarier than playing in front of like, dude, we did Reading and Leeds, like main stage. Like that.
Was that crazy?
It was awesome, but I was
How many
also
people is that?
I was scared because I was also like right after Entertainment came out. But
how many people are in that crowd?
Oh my god! Like, I am curious. How many people go to Reading and Leeds Festival?
Because that's the biggest UK festival.
100,000. Now the thing is, that's when it's totally full. Like we were a little bit earlier, so I think it was like 30 or 40,000. But dude, play like where I'm like from you to you, and I can see your face. If I'm fucking singing at you right now, that's so much scarier. I'd rather just see like a blob and just be like, circle pit, go.
Do you think you did a good job at Reading and Leeds?
One time I called it reading on purpose just to like.
Did the UK people get pissed?
They go, oh, it's really funny. But also we did a DVD in Birmingham, and they hate when you say Birmingham. You know what I mean? Like, so the entire DVD I was saying it like that for fandom, and they still give me shit about that. But
it's so funny because you like troll your audience. It's
you have
great.
to. It's funny. Yeah, like sometimes I'm like, if I feel like they're being boring, I'll say the wrong city name, and they're like, oh. It's always fun. Otto doesn't like it. You know, it's kind of funny. The same way that we did Houston, like the way that we kind of like it's like quietly taking the shit over before going out and being like, hey, labels and shit, look what we're doing. It's like, I feel like that would work in any way because I've also been doing that with like making clothes. Like you know about High Def, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So the same kind of thing has been happening, and it's really interesting, like kind of building it, like quietly building it away from people.
It's the slow build is really what builds that audience.
That's what, and the thing is, it's like keeping it limited, like the same way we would keep like capacities at venues limited. Like it was like small venues. It's like it's always sold out, and it looks so cool. You know what I mean? And like,
and then eventually you'll do a fashion show.
Well, so I mean, I'm saying it's funny because it took Waterparks like 4 years of that, and High Def's been active for about 3 years, and it's really interesting because they're kind of like on the same trajectory, which is really interesting. Like, I don't want to say too much yet, but it's cool because after we've done 3 seasons now, and all of them have sold out, and like the socials are like private. You know what I mean? It's like a very exclusive feeling thing. And it's funny because towards the end of season 3, people from like other companies are like finally actually starting to notice. And it's interesting seeing people be like, you know, we'll get hit up and they're like, hey, so like, what's the deal with this? Like, what do you like? It feels like labels poking around again, just in a different font. You know what I mean? And so I'm excited to see like where Waterparks was in like 2016. Like, I'm excited to see that this year.
Is anything crazy happening with High Def this year?
Mm-hmm. I can't say too much yet, but it's kind of like that part in 2015 where I'm like, oh, like quiet sign, but we still have to like just operate, you know. But it's really fulfilling because it's, you know, like 2020, I spent like the entire time, like 2019, I was like trying to figure out like how to start. Then 2020, it was just like studying, because obviously everything was fucking like that whole year. And I was just like, man, I'm gonna learn for when things like come back on, and that makes me think of like learning how to promote, how to do, like promote shows, promote music, like make music, record music. What does everybody in the industry do? Like what all this shit? It's like, it feels like that's like the learning phase, and it's like it's funny being able to like equate them and like see the stages, because obviously like Waterparks is here by comparison, but like I'm like, I remember this is like 2015, then 2016 we did this, so like that's 2024 for this, you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like after doing so much shit yourself, you can kind of like see patterns in the way that you run projects, and it's like exciting, you know what I mean?
What would you say is the most monumental year for Waterparks, and what was that jump?
Probably this year, or 2023. Like I say, okay, wait, that's hard to say. I want to say, because like I have to kind of look at it like dynamically, meaning like how big of a jump was it, And so like when 2016 happened and we got our first van, finally everyone knew we were, signed to this indie label, and we had management. We're going on our first tours, and we toured the entire year, and we put out an EP on a label, and we like made a music video with like more than 2 people, and you know what I mean? Like, so that was really big. But then I remember for like fandom, it was like, I mean, every cycle has had its cool things. Like I said, Reading and Leeds, like for album 2, you know what I mean? But then like fandom, I remember we got a bus, and we're like our own bus. We didn't have to like share with, a bunch of bands or whatever. And we're like, whoa. And like, we got to do like TRL. We were in Target for the first time. Like we had like Radio Disney, Hits 1, like all this shit. And we're like, this is amazing. So like, I would say like first get like, it's a lot of like the firsts, you know what I mean? But then this past year with intellectual property, we got our first top 10 album.
That's massive.
It was crazy. Like, dude, the only person who beat us in physicals was goddamn Metallica.
Did they have like a re-release, or was it a new album?
No, they put out a new album. I'm like, why? Who the fuck wants a 17th Metallica album? I'm here to say, fuck Metallica. No, but I'm just like, man, get out of here. Like, you already did your thing. Just fucking Enter Sandman, a fucking festival. Get out of here. Yeah, no, first top 10 album, like our highest selling tour by far. You know what, dude, actually the Property one, that did as much as Fandom and See You in the Future combined.
Wow.
Like ticket sale wise. Like, so there was that, like there's so many things. Like,
I saw you twice on that tour.
You did, dude. Yeah. You gotta come to the next one. We're doing the Palladium here.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's sick.
I saw pictures of it and I was just like,
Does the tour bus come and pick you up at your house and then you go? Or are you driving to the venue?
It did at first, and it was really funny. Like, it picked me up at my parents' house.
And you go, are you originally from here?
No. Houston.
So your parents' house in Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, outside neighbors are like, what the hell is this shit?
Did it have your face on the bus?
No. We're not like that.
There's Austin.
The thing is, I would totally let any sponsor besides like cigarettes wrap our bus if they'll give us money. Buses are expensive.
How come you don't try and get a sponsor for the bus every tour?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Sunny D was supposed to sponsor the Fandom tour.
That's a cool sponsor.
No, it's not, because they pulled out. Pussies. Like,
I didn't even know they were still around.
Yeah, exactly. And I made them trend. So check this out. Like, it was funny. I was at the studio and I've been talking to Benji about it for a while, and we were talking to Sunny D about like sponsoring the tour, because I used it to make the album art, the Fandom one with like the splatter.
Yeah, that
was pictures I took of like throwing Sunny D.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, like in my old apartment, I fucked it up. It was like so dirty.
Those are vibrant.
Yeah, and so they were talking about sponsoring. He's like, "How fast can you make them trend?" I'm like, I mean, probably like 10, 15 minutes. He's like, well, I'm walking into the meeting right now. Can you do it now? And I was like, shit, okay. So I trended like, hashtag like Sunny Parks. You know what I mean? And I got it up in like 2 minutes or something. Just like a real quick thing on Twitter. And like before that meeting was over, it was like number 1. And he's like, look, see what they can do. And they're like, all right, we're in. And then they read my social media and pulled out.
Oh.
Pussies.
Damn.
Bitch. Yeah.
So then you guys have to pay for the tour bus?
Yeah.
Oh,
It sucks, dude. A bus is like, it's so fucking expensive just to like have somewhere to sleep and travel in. But like
you need it.
the van hotel thing doesn't work.
Right.
Like I started taking vocal lessons like 2021, I think. And I remember I was yawning at one of them and she was like, how much sleep did you get? And dude, she's so sweet and she's so good too. But she's like, how much sleep did you get? And I was like, I don't know, like 5-6 hours. She's like, okay, no more singing today. Like, we're not going to do this. We're going to reschedule this. You need a minimum 8 hours. And I was like, huh. And I did realize, like, I never put it together before, but the less I sleep, like, it's so much fucking harder to get through a set, especially like a headline one. Because, like, yeah, basically, like in the UK, I take this shit called Night Nurse. It's just like a stronger Z-Quil. And I sleep for like 11 hours and I sound awesome. And I've noticed, like, when we did Australia recently, we did 5 shows in 6 days. Dude, no, that's.
So now you don't do that many shows in a row?
Fuck no. And the thing is, I even told like booking and everybody, I'm like, we don't do that. Do not book 4 in a row. You know what I mean? Because like my voice, 90-minute sets in a row, like 4 days in a row, it's just not going to happen. And sorry for burping. It's drink Red Bull. But
when you see Taylor Swift do a 3-hour set as a vocalist, are you impressed?
I mean, thing is, I haven't seen her since the Speak Now tour. I missed the Eras one because we were out. I missed so many good tours, like, because we're always doing shit. But but with Australia, every day was a fly day. So we'd get to the hotel at like, midnight or 1, like eat and all that. And then lobby call was like 6
a.m.
Yes. And so I even told them, I was like, hey, I need to get later flights because not even on like some diva shit, but my voice just physically won't do the job it needs to do if I'm getting 5 hours of sleep 4 days in a row. It's just not, it like physically won't do it. And so mine would get pushed later, but it would still be like 7:30. It's still not good.
Yeah.
And by show 4, I didn't have a fucking voice. You know what I mean?
So then are you just like...
Yes. Straight up. I would sing what I could, and I would kind of like make up for it with like energy. You know what I mean? And like just going harder. But yeah, no, we had to cut a few songs on the last day because I was just like, guys, it's physically not happening.
How do you feel on the switch from X with Twitter?
I will never fucking call it X. Elon Musk is a fucking loser. And every time I hear that he's having like mental struggles because of like all the hate that he gets, I fucking get so happy.
You miss Twitter?
Yeah. Well, dude, like Twitter.
The new algorithm is so good though. Like when it's catered to you.
I feel like everything was better for me before. Like every time somebody pulls up, like, goes back and like retweets some like out of pocket shit I said in like 2018 or 19, or like, I mean, dude, even like 2021, it would always have like 7,000 or 8,000 likes. Dude, I get like 2,000 now.
Right. The engagement went down.
Yeah.
I think because less people are on it too, though.
I think so too, because people like can't stand that shit. I think people are also kind of tired of social media.
I think so too. I think when I lost my blue check mark on X.
Dude, they took away our blue check mark on album day.
Oh, that's awful.
On our album release day, they took away the check mark and I was like, what? And then
it just becomes confusing because then all these parody accounts that are blue checked start saying
stuff. Do you know how many
stuff.
people with my fucking picture are verified?
That's so funny.
It makes no sense. It's so. And then if I go to like tag Jeff, like after, or like in a picture, you know what I mean? Like you like tag people in the photo. If I type his name's underscore Jeff, if I type underscore, it's 10 other people, like fan accounts
who are verified.
I mean, I don't know if they're verified or not, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't even come up. I'm just like, dude, your algorithm is fucking cooked.
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it so much harder to use the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good.
What's the deal with your haunted Airbnb experience?
Fucking which one?
How many haunted places are you staying at?
I don't do it anymore. That's why I officially moved here. I was so over it.
Do you look for haunted Airbnbs?
No. Like, here's the thing. Actually, the most haunted one that I stayed at, not the most cursed. Cursed one was this dude. What the fuck was his name?
What's the difference?
Cursed is just like, this guy is a murderer for sure. Like, and I think I can prove it. and he got my review taken down. What the fuck was his name?
Did you leave a funny review saying?
Of course I did. Hang on. Okay. Well, okay, the haunted one was actually about 2 blocks from here.
Great. Let's visit it.
We can.
I'm okay.
You don't want to?
No.
Here's the thing. I think I fixed it. At least temporarily. Because, like, that one was weird. When I was staying there, I would always just, like, hear people walking around and there was, like, nobody in there. I'd feel like people were in the room. And I don't mean to sound like this, but, like, I've got a pretty good sense for that because I used to spend most of my time before, like, Waterparks was really, like, doing shit. Like visiting haunted places and like playing, like I'd be playing Ouija boards like every fucking day. I'd go to like, we'd travel like like friends and I would travel like to haunted places around Texas. And like,
did you have Weird Texas? Was that a book?
No, it's like Weird New Jersey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I'm from New Jersey. So we had Weird New Jersey and
Nice.
we would go to different places there that are haunted. I always thought every state had that.
No, it's just you guys. And I'm pretty jealous. Like I had to kind of figure it out, but there were so many haunted places and so many creepy things. I just like, I think after a while, you kind of just like I can be somewhere and be like, hey, something's kind of off and wrong. And I feel like we got to go right now. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. I've seen things. I've heard too many things.
Would you ever stay at the Conjuring house?
Yes.
You would?
With you.
Absolutely not. Don't throw me into that.
You threw me into that. Why'd you ask?
Because you seem like you want to go.
Well, I don't want to, but I will.
Yeah, I'm so busy. I can't do it that day.
Yeah, well, I would go for just a night.
I get scared because those kind of things I feel like will follow you.
Well, that was the problem with me is I feel like I got followed for a long time.
He's still here.
No,
he likes your room right
genuinely,
here.
like I have like a healer come in sometimes and like cleanse my place and like do stuff. And sometimes, because I really like buying antiques. And so I'll go to like antique stores and come back with like 6 things. And then stuff starts to kind of like be a little active again. And I'm like, oh man. So I'll call them and they'll literally go to the items that I like just got. And they're like, where did you get this? And I'm like, antique store.
Jeffrey Dahmer's
Yeah,
house.
exactly. It's like it was his kitchenware. No, but she's made me like throw things away before, and I'm like, fuck, I just bought that. But honestly, there's been some not like craziness, but this is like a pretty like low degree of it. But after my last antique haul, I've been hearing more like knocks and like thumps and stuff. And then like also the other day I was just sitting there watching something and like my cup fell over like on the table, just like I was just like the thing is it doesn't get me that bad now because like I've just experienced so much worse. But if like a cup falls, I'm kind of like, all right, I guess I should call her.
Do you ever go to that? Did you ever play at that venue that's haunted? There's the pool.
The Rave.
Oh, that's the haunted one?
Yeah, it's in Milwaukee. I played there 5-6 times.
And what happened there?
So it was the tunnel that what's his fucking name?
Oh, a serial killer?
Yeah, it was a serial killer. He used to meet people at like the like club part of it there.
Uh-huh.
And then there was the hotel across the street that he would take them to. Was it John Wayne Gacy? No, it was hang on, let me look it up.
It says a guy drowned in the pool.
Oh, I think there also is that too. Oh yeah, so it was Jeffrey Dahmer. Sometimes he would meet people and you could take like an underground path to like this hotel across the street. And they don't let you go on that floor anymore because I remember one time I walked over there and I tried going to that floor and they were like, that's not a floor. And I was like, that has to be a floor. What the fuck are you talking about? You're like, this is a building. Like you have a structure. But this Airbnb over here though, I don't know what happened there, but I was just hearing so much stuff, and then I mean it was pretty intense too. Like it wasn't just like the sound of neighbors, you know? Like, I could tell the difference. And one night I woke up and I could hear like whispering, like it was like 2 voices, and one was like, he's waking up, he's waking up, he's waking up. And then it was like, and I was like, what the fuck? And it was like, come with us, just come with us, like that kind of thing. And I fucking shot up and I was like, oh, and I just had like icy chills and shit. So the next day I went there's this like Catholic church over here. I went and I got a cup and I got some holy water. I got some sage.
You brought holy water from a church?
Yeah. And you can like exercise these things. If it's not like too powerful of like a dark entity or whatever. So
exercise like exorcist?
Yeah, like
you do it yourself.
Remove.
DIY.
Yeah, I mean you can cleanse your own place anytime. Like I cleanse myself after like every tour. Cause I'm like, I don't know who I fucking interacted with. You know what I mean? I want good energy around me. That's why I don't seek this shit out anymore. But if we're like, I'm going to the Conjuring house, would you like to come for a night? I'd be like, fuck, sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't seek it out though, because I'm like, I also don't want to like fuck up what I have going on.
Yeah, me too. That's why I want to go, but I just can't right this second. Because
things are going well.
There's like
a
that light. I just got that new light, so I got to work on that.
Yeah, you got. I understand that. It's tall too. You got to get a ladder if you want to.
And then by the time I get to the Conjuring house, I don't have the ladder, so it's a little hard.
Yeah, you need that ladder.
But I'll meet you there, I guess.
Right.
Wait, so you just went to the church and took holy water?
Yeah, and I asked for forgiveness and all that. But so I opened the windows. I was raised pretty religiously. Opened all the windows. I put the crosses on the walls, like with the water. I got the sage. I said the things you say to like remove the like things and all that. I have to do that sometimes. But even at my place, I've got to do it like every month and a half, 2 months, like at minimum, But what was fucked up was when I went to open all the windows and everything, they already had sage burned taped above them. So these people had already tried this and like still rented it out.
Oh, so it was already haunted.
Yes. It was already there when I got there. I didn't bring it.
They knew.
Yeah, but then after I did all that shit, I didn't feel like anyone was standing behind me while I was like working. I didn't hear any voices. I feel like there was other shit too, but this is a minute ago, so I'm kind of blanking a little bit.
My problem with that is like, if a spirit follows me, am I really going to go get a priest to come and help me?
I will.
I don't know how to do that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm not just going to walk down to the church and say, hey, Father Roberts, I need you to come by.
Well, the thing is, the way I found this, I mean, we're going to get real like LA with it for a second, but the way I found this person, the person who like will come cleanse
the
my
healer.
place. Yeah. So I was looking into hypnotherapy in like 2021, and this lady seemed good, and she was really close by geographically. And so I hired her, and after like a few sessions, I was like, so what else do you do? Because like I saw like drums and shit in there. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing. And not like auto drums, but and she was like, oh, I do this, I do Reiki, I do like yoga stuff, I do healing, cleansing, did all this stuff. And I was like, okay, that's good. Can you kind of like, that's kind of how that started. Yeah.
What do you think is the most costly part of being a musician? Is it the touring?
All of it. I mean, yeah. The thing is, it kind of depends where you allocate budgets. You know what I mean? Like, because some people will have like labels that throw $100K into fucking marketing. You know what I mean? And in theory, you could run a really basic like early tour for less than that. Like if you just buy a van for, like a used van for pretty cheap, you get a trailer. Like granted, it's probably going to spin out at some point like ours did. Like, you know what I mean? There's all kinds of shit like that can happen, but...
Was your bus accident bad?
No. It was like... So, with the van, we had a couple weird things. Nothing... Like, no one died, but the worst things we've had since having, like, big vehicles will be, like... We're kind of like... So, like, there's, like, some weird shit going on like, a night drive, and then, like, the trailer, like, spins out. And we're like... Oh, fuck, and we have to, like, stop. And, I mean, luckily, I don't have to figure it out because I got fucking singer diva privileges. But, like, Lucas, like, our tour manager, or, like, whoever, will go handle it. You know what I mean? And so God bless them. I could never be a tour manager or a day-to-day manager. Like, that shit looks so hard. But the most expensive part for us would be touring, I think.
Traveling from city to city? But you make most of the money back on merch, right? You guys get to keep that?
It It depends. So I would never sign like a 360. I made sure I was even smart enough to know like with like the shitty deals back in the day. But so we do get to keep like all merch and everything. But God, man, getting a bus is like for like a full tour is like God, like $90K or something.
Just for like a 30-day cycle.
I'd say like 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
You know what I mean? Like a month and a half.
Have you had anyone's tour bus that was like before that?
Yeah, everyone, dude. Like that's the thing. It's funny because like you'll get certain drivers that like stay with their bus, and they'll be like, "Oh, I was driving like
Mariah Carey."
Literally, yeah, like Mariah Carey, like Dennis Rodman, like fucking
shit,
dude. I love like that. Our last U.S. driver that we had, he was the best, man, and like I made sure that we got him again because so many drivers are like weird. You know what I mean? Like, I mean. They're just like, I mean, they're like trucker dudes. You know what I mean?
They're road warriors.
Exactly. So they're like, you know, they can be weird or like, even if it's not like bad weird, it's kind of just like
an off comment.
Something's off with you, like that kind of thing, you know? But you're like, I only have to be here for like 3 more weeks. I'm just going to bite the fucking bullet. I don't want to change buses. And plus they're all like weird in some way. But our last driver was great. He was so nice. Yeah, I'd say touring because it's like, yeah, fucking let's just say $90K for the bus. Then now we're paying for like 10 people's salaries. You know what I mean? That adds up. Then, I mean, luckily in the US, they're kind of figuring it out, but like merch cut exists. You know what I mean?
Do venues take a piece of it?
Mm-hmm. Even though it's like, we have our own merch people. We paid for all our merch. We brought it. Like, they're like, yeah, but you're in here. I'm like, dude, you're making so much money from tickets and bar and like coat check. Like, you have like parking. You have like a million avenues of this shit. Fuck off. Like,
do you think that'll change at all?
Well, it kind of is live. So Live Nation is, I want to be fucking sure before I give them these ups, but like, I believe so. I know they were implementing like a no merch cut thing to try and like, because so many people quit touring, or like so many people do it so much less. So I think they're trying to like incentivize people and like let them. It's also a good PR thing, but let them keep their fucking merch sales. And it's funny that now we're at a point in like this field where letting people keep the money that they made and that they've already like had to
is a win.
That's like, what a nice thing of you to do. It's like not pop our tires on the way out. So kind. But I mean, paying for like production, like, dude, when we bring like a full stage, like, oh my God, this coming tour is going to be the fucking coolest stage production and design wise.
Do you already have it built out?
Most of it, dude. Like, I'll tell you more after, but because I hate spoilers, but like we've never had like multiple looks on a stage before. And that's what I will say. We've never had like a changing thing. You know what I mean? So this is not going to be some shit where it's like, here's a banner that says Waterparks and some lights. Like we're building like it's like a play. It's like a set. You know what I mean? And like there's things that are going to be, fuck me, man. There's things that are going to be happening throughout that like change things. And it's very like story driven and it's fucking cool. Anyone who misses this is going to see it later on like YouTube or like whatever, where people like put up videos and pictures and they're going to be like, fuck. Like people are going to be sad that they missed this one in the future. I fully back that.
How long is this tour coming up?
6 weeks? I think so. 5, 6. Yeah, it starts at the end of February, ends at the beginning of April. So, I mean, with like rehearsals and travel and everything, about a month and a half.
And who are you taking out?
So far, we have this band called Loveless. They're going to be direct support. And then we've got 4. So here's another thing. People normally would bring like their direct support and then like an opener. Or sometimes if the lineup was fucking horrible, there'd be like 6 bands, 7 bands, and they're just like, ah. But the way I kind of like to do it is give cool people like that. Because I mean, here's the thing. It would be like naive to pretend that like opening for us isn't like one of the fucking best things you can do, because everyone who likes us is very cool and they're open to new shit. They're willing to hear new music.
They're also dedicated. They're fans of the scene.
Exactly. And the thing is, if we were to go open for like a more legacy band, like an older thing that's been around for a long time that just has like mid 30s to like 40 age range of like fans, they already know what they like. They're established. It's like if, I mean, just an example, if we like, and I say this with love because they were one of my favorite bands for so long and I still listen to their albums all the time. They're great. If we were to open for Taking Back Sunday, like we would not get anybody from that. Nobody would come with us afterwards.
Just to play devil's advocate.
Well, I know this because of promoting outside.
Okay, because not to toot your own horn, but I feel like you guys could win them over because you have such a great live show.
Well, thank you. But even early on, like, dude, the hardest shows that we've ever done, because we've opened for like a good amount of people, we maintain, like, it's interesting too, because like, let's say Sum 41, for example, we opened for them in Europe, right? There would be, 2,000 people there. I barely see any of them when we come back. But
did you do a full tour with them?
I mean, it was like,
or like dates?
It was like a week and a half total, because it was like 2 dates with them and then our own date and then like a date with them and then like a festival date. And you know what I mean? So it was kind of broken up.
Yeah.
But then for like, let's say in like 2016, like one of our first tours, we got to open for Sleeping with Sirens. Dude, I still recognize people from that tour. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying and the thing is, there would be less people there. Like, let's say there were 1,200 people there instead of 2,000. You know what I mean? Like a full, like that much of a difference. And I think we would still maintain like 300 people from each show who would come back again. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that's just what I've taken from personal experience. Anytime there's a band who's already established and their fans are going there to be like, play Fat Lip or whatever, they don't give a fuck about us. But if there's like people who I don't know, or I mean, it's not to say that it's not just I don't even want to like discredit bands that have been around for a minute, because I mean, it's not easy to keep doing your thing for that long, but newer bands just have newer fans and they're just objectively more open to hearing stuff. You know what I mean? And being like, oh, what was that? I'm going to go find that song.
I think they have more life. They have more excitement to see new stuff.
They're more like open to things. And I feel like older people are like just so stuck in their ways. And I even got that from like flyering so much. Like I could tell who would be like willing to hear some shit and who wouldn't. Even walking up to someone, if I like saw some fucking dude who's like red from drinking beer and shit, and I'd be like, hey, I'm in this band, be like, fuck off. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then like, but if I see like some kid in like, I don't know, like if they're in like a fucking Metro Station shirt, I'm like, they are going to listen to every song we have.
Yeah.
So what was the question?
I forget.
Me too. But I feel like, opening for us, it's a thing that I feel like one of the things that I can do is pay it forward to people that I think are cool, And so if I see so-and-so, I'm like, oh man, like their label shit's been so annoying for them, like whatever. If I was them, I'd want to kind of catch a break right now and pick up some new fans and whatever. I'm going to bring them. I think they're such a cool band. I think they're underappreciated. I'm going to bring them, or like sometimes it's just like, hey, I'm like good friends with you. I want to hang out.
Yeah.
You're coming with.
I remember artists used to have to pay to be the opener band. Is that still a thing?
Only if you're like a broke ass headliner.
And you're like trying to get that extra money?
Do you want to mute I'll tell you some and you can mute them.
Yeah, sure. I'll cut it.
And we're back.
Wow.
Or like people have.
Wow, the Beatles?
Yeah. The Beatles make you pay. Yeah. Like, no, actually, it's kind of funny. I'll get DMs sometimes from people that are like, hey, how much to open like the tour?
Do you think they're trying to just get that sneaky intel?
See, I can't tell, but the thing is, either way, I'm kind of like, I don't fucking know you. And I don't know. I try and like keep the amount of headaches for Lucas at a minimum. And I'm like, if this local motherfucker's got like a rich dad or some shit, like I don't want to bring that around. Plus, I don't even know if it's like good.
Yeah.
Because we did get it on. Actually, what did they want to? It may have been the property tour. Somebody wanted to open, and they offered like, what was it? I want to say like $30K or something like that
To open up for the full tour.
Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, music's fucking trash. And they seem like they'd be so annoying to hang out with. I don't think that's worth it for like 6 weeks of being like rolling my eyes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I try and give it to people that I feel like, I don't know, are cool, that I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because there's still, this is just like the petty side of me that's, I mean, and it's funny, but there are people like early on that used to kind of dick us around, like promoters and stuff, where I would pay fees, like they would be like, pay $20 to be considered for this festival. And I would do it every time, and they would never give it to us. And eventually I asked, and I was like, hey, it's like the third time we didn't make it. I was like, what are you looking for? Because, you know, like I've submitted for like a bunch of these things now, and I'm just like confused because like if it's tickets, we can sell them. He's like, no, I'm just looking for like hard workers and like people I see like really grinding. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm out here every fucking day promoting. I've learned Photoshop so I can make merch and flyers. I handle printing flyers. I book all our shows. I print our tickets. I do like, I learned like video editing to put up, like, it's like I'm like, dude, I'm doing everything. And you give it to this band and all they've done is put out like a goddamn metalcore Justin Bieber cover this year. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I try and be careful when I say like, I try and give it to hardworking people. Cause I mean, I'm sure there are a fucking bunch of hardworking, cool people that, you know, would like to come along, but we also can't bring 30 openers.
Right.
So if that's you, I'm sorry. And it's not personal.
Did you write with One Direction?
I wrote with their guy, Julian, who has credit on like 90% of their songs.
That's crazy.
Dude. So check this out. Normally, I say no to sessions because it's like, it's a weird thing. I've done a handful of them. And even if the people are cool, it's still just like, it's a weird thing because you walk in, they're like, what do you want to write about? And you're like, ah.
It's like the first day at school meeting someone.
Yeah, but it's like, or it's kind of like first day of school in front of a therapist. They're like, so like, what's plaguing you?
Yeah.
Let's talk. This is my engineer, you know? And you're like, oh, like it's weird. And so I don't really like doing it, but we got the offer. They were like, hey, so Julian Bonetta wants to know if you'd want to do some songs with them. And I was like, wait a fucking minute. I was like, let me just make sure I'm right. Cause I'm like, I'm right. I know who, like, I always look at who writes on things. I'm just curious. And I'm like, I'm nosy. And I went and I checked and I was just like, oh, and I was just like,
what songs did he do?
Dude, like Olivia, Never Enough, What Makes You Beautiful. Like, dude, literally like all the fucking songs. Like if you look up any of their songs, like you go on like Spotify and click on like credits, he's on like all of them. Like it's crazy. He even showed me a couple of their demos and I was like the first like early versions of certain like my favorites. And I was just like, like it was crazy. But like one of their songs had like a big ass horn solo for like a minute and a half at the end of it. And I was just like, this is weird. No, so I was like, absolutely. Like normally I'm not into it because I'm kind of a hermit with writing and I keep that circle very small. Like there's only like a few people that I would go to and be like, hey, do you want to help me with this? And it's because I know they're not going to try and write it for me. They're just going to help. Like if I write something, they'll be like my friend Joe, for example, Regasta, he'll be like,
pending.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I love, you know, okay. Do you know that Jelly Roll song, Need a Favor?
No.
Okay. Well, it's like, it's been like number one at country for fucking like months. And it's even like going into like pop charts and shit. Joe is one of the main writers on that and got like his first like platinum album and all this shit. Like from that, he's like, he does a lot of country writing and he's very good.
They're one of my first bands I ever got into in like,
dude,
what is it? 2012?
Yeah.
No, 2002?
Probably, yeah. They were on it forever. And that's actually how I met him. When we went on the entertainment tour in the UK, they were the direct support.
I bought their CD at Warped Tour in
we
like
shared
2001.
a bus.
That's crazy.
2001?
I think so.
Whoa.
It had to be 2001, 2002.
That sounds right, because they were fucking on it for a long time.
It was before their Save the Whale CD.
Yeah.
It was like a yellow one.
Did you know it?
Yes.
Hang on.
Because they also had a YouTube channel too.
Yeah, so apparently in like Soulja Boy fashion, they were like one of the first bands to do like YouTube vlogs as a band. Yeah.
They like inspired my YouTube video journey.
Yo. Oh, you're sweaty. Hey, I'm doing a podcast right now, and with my friend Joe, other Joe, and he bought your CD in like 2001. He knew about patent pending like YouTube and shit.
Did we sell it to him by hand in a parking lot?
At the Warped Tour, you guys were selling it at your tent, and I bought it from you, and then we did like, you're like, come on, let's go, and everybody like grabbed each other's shoulders, and we ran around in a circle.
So we're very clear, and I mean this with all of my heart. All of that is true. Like literally every single piece of that. I could probably, honestly, not even kidding, I probably have it on tape. Which Warped Tour was it?
Englishtown, New Jersey.
Yeah, buddy, I got it. I got the footage. It
I'm
exists.
in there.
Wait, can you
That's
send that?
heralded footage.
Can you send that, and we'll put it at the end or something?
We'll clip it.
How much time do I have to find it?
A day, 2 days, 3 days.
Okay. All right. Whoa. Okay. Give me 2. Because if you give me 3, you've given us a cookie. You'll never get it. So give me 2 days. I'll get this footage. I'll send it to you. Also, just name like 6 of your favorite lines from the end.
Shut the fuck up. Okay.
Hey, Joe, do me a favor. Have Joe labeled Nutella on the back of Austin's head over there, like right behind his head.
You want a copy?
That I'm a recovering Nutella addict, 12 years clean, bro. Not cool.
It says Joe.
I know it does. It's fucked up. I'm 12 years off the juice. All right, guys, I'm so proud of both of you. Congratulations on an incredible podcast.
Are you doing the
listening live? It sounds great.
Are you doing the Peloton?
I just got off the Peloton. I set a new personal best. 7 miles, 15 minutes. I wouldn't.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm very fast.
Fast life.
A lot of weight since I quit Nutella.
All right.
I love you guys. Bye. Good luck.
Bye.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, I like to write with him because, I mean, as you can probably tell, he will keep it very real. And if I write a certain line or whatever, he'll be like, "Hey, do you want to be a year from now? Do you want to be playing this song in arenas or at Warped Tour?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "You're better than this. Fuck you." And I'm like, "Fuck you!" And he's like, "Look me in the eyes. Tell me that's the best version of that line that you will ever make. Like, you can't do better than that." And I'm like, "Okay." And then we'll go back and like, try and like make it all better. So
Are you going to do more songs with him?
of course, dude. Like, honestly, if I could write with him every day for 2 months, we would have the best album anyone has ever heard.
Is he like super booked and busy?
I mean, so he's like with the whole, it's complicated, but with the country thing, he has to be like in Nashville like a certain amount of days, like a week and shit. And like, so there's not really like a scenario where he can dip for like a long, because he's like, I think he's like signed and shit, like as a writer even. So there's kind of like things due, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And he's got like a family and shit too, so he can't just like dip.
Oh, I know. I know. I was very involved in his journey.
That's so funny. I love that.
That's weird. I was literally just thinking about him the other day.
Really?
Yeah, because someone on Facebook posted like, "Congrats, Joe Ragosta, for getting your like M platinum whatever," and I tried finding it.
Yeah.
So I assume it was the Jelly Roll thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wow, that's sick. He's still writing. Because even like Andrew Goldstein's writing for people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the
People from that
bands
time, yeah.
that I listened to.
Dude, actually, I've written Andrew. I made Self-Sabotage with him.
Really?
From the album. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
So that's the thing. Andrew is the first person that I was like, during like 2020, obviously we're also isolated and everything, but that's when I started being okay with writing with bringing other people in, because normally it was like a very like, I just need to go tunnel vision for 8 hours and then we'll have a great song, but it made me like, being that isolated made me want to work with more people. And he was like the first like person where I was like, okay, I'll do a session with you, in that time. And so I'm still like not the biggest on writing with other people, but I also enjoy it. It's like a thing I enjoy like half the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like on Greatest Hits, I worked with him and Zach on Low Key as Hell.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So
All together in the same room?
Yeah. Or so no, he was on FaceTime. But Zach and I did like the nose test and then got together and then he FaceTimed in. And then yeah, with this one, Self-Sabotage. So far he's gotten one on each since 2020. One song on each album.
Oh, that's sick.
Mm-hmm.
How did your writing experience go with Black Bear?
Oh yeah, so that was real interesting. It's funny, I have the like original voice memo of when I first went in. And dude, it's funny because I basically improv like it's like starting at the start of the song, like the verse is like pre-chorus is chorus, like even like right away it's like funk about it later if you want, da, da, na, 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 you know, like, and I have like the dry vocal of that. I'll show it to you, but it was funny because that all came together really fast, and then I even had like a second verse on it already, just like me. But I was like, man, like I was talking about trying to have Black Bear on this other song called "Call Me Beat Me," and but I played that one for a couple friends, and multiple people were like, Black Bear would fucking destroy this song. You should have him on this one. And I was like, after a while, I was like, 3 separate people have said it in different conversations. I was like, I think they're right. So I showed it to him, and he's like, oh my God. Like, dude, when he sent his verse, he was like, this is like my favorite feature I've done. Like, my wife is fucking psyched, and she didn't give a shit what I do. You know what I mean? It was funny.
How does that work? You send Black Bear the song,
Yeah,
and then he has creative freedom.
So yeah, I sent it to him without I sent him a full instrumental, full regular version, then a version without the second verse. I was in Amsterdam, actually. It was the last day of, I think, the See You in the Future tour.
And this is the demo version?
It's just like, I mean, it's a version I made with Zach.
Okay,
but,
so it's like the song but not mastered.
Right, it's not like mixed or anything yet. So its levels are kind of weird and all that. But I sent it to him without the second verse and without a second chorus too, because I told him, I was like, look, I don't like when people do features and it's like just verse 2 or just a bridge. Like, if I'm gonna do because we don't really have features, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at album 1, 2, 3, 4, there's no. Like, there are, like, friends that, like, add textures and stuff, but nobody has, like, their own part. You know, like, Zeph is on Crying Over It All, doing, like, vocal layerings and all this stuff, and it's amazing. Dallin from I Don't Know How But They Found Me is on the outro of Fruit Roll-Ups, doing, like, he's like, ah, you know, that kind of thing. Dwayne's on Like It, Fuzzy, or, like, my friend Vincent does, like, he goes by Vincent Void. He's doing like screaming in the second verse of Ritual. So it's like, that's the thing, is like, I'll have friends on songs, but this was like the first that was like feature where like they have their own full part where I'm like not involved, you know, as far as like the performance. So I tell him, I'm like, I don't want it to be like one part. If we're doing this feature, like I want you to sing like second verse. You know, I even told him, I was like, I think you should start the song. And he's like, let me do second verse. And I was like, okay. So second verse, chorus. I was like, I want you to do like a whole chorus. I want you to do like bridge, and like and like even last chorus, I want it to be like both of us kind of weaving like in and out. You know what I mean? So I want it to be like, this is a collaboration and not just like I phoned in a fucking feature, you know? So he's like sending me drafts, and I'm like, holy shit. And he's like, what do you think of like these lines? I'm like, yeah, I mean, you could probably make like these first two like a little bit tighter, you know, that kind of thing. And so we're like sending lyrics back and forth like on the plane. Like I'm like flying home, and we're like, you know, luckily the Wi-Fi didn't like shit the bed, but we're sending each other like lyric things. And eventually he sends over like the final verse, and I was just like, oh. And when I first heard those like things he had in the chorus, like the yeah, you know what I mean, like doing something's wrong 'cause you, like all that shit, I was just like, oh my God. I was like, it like elevates it so much for me. So no, I'm very happy with that. I gotta do it live sometime. Black Bear, Matt, if you see this, we gotta do it live. Come to the Palladium. It'll be cool.
That'd be sick.
Mm-hmm.
So what else do you have coming up now? Obviously, you have the tour. You're just preparing,
Yeah.
rehearsing.
I've got a handful of things I'll talk about pretty soon going on with High Def, but I'm very excited for that. It's funny, man. Like, I've got so many things that I want to do and so many projects, but I don't like letting, and this I feel like is like an insecurity thing, or like it's a weird personal thing, but I don't normally tell people about things while I'm working on them.
You like doing it once it's
Yeah,
in motion.
because that's the thing. It's like, what if I make something in like a fully different world of entertainment and people don't, or like it falls through for whatever reason, and then people know you failed. You know what I mean? Or like even the other day, so before we left for the property tour, I made like I've always wanted to like score a movie or score a show or whatever. And so before we left, I mean, I've been working on that for like a couple years where I'll like try and find movie scenes with no music and then just like make music to it, you know, and like do that myself and try and like get used to it. And because that's the only way you'll get like jobs is if you like prove that you can do it before they need it. So I made a full video game soundtrack, like 25, 26 songs. Actually, I pulled one of them off because I was like, I put some more guitars on it and I was like, this could be like an amazing Waterparks song. So I yanked one, but so like 25 or 26 songs of like video game music, like that I fully just like did myself and kept it like so on the down low. And you know, I've sent it to a few like there, I've never done a publishing deal, right? We just have like admin deals and all that. But so I sent it to a few publishing companies who have like talked to us about wanting to try and do something. And I'm like, hey, find this a home. Like if people are trying to prove that they're like good or whatever, I'm like, I made all these video game things. Can you try and find someone to like take it? I mean, they don't even really have to pay. Like I just want to hear it in a like a Crash Bandicoot like Spyro type game. But the other day I tweeted about it and I was just like, hey, I did this. Any video game people that see this, hit me up. You know what I mean? But that's like a very rare instance where I'll, oh my God, I'm burping so much and I'm sorry. Where I'll kind of like pull back the curtain and be like, this is something I've quietly been doing.
Right.
Before it's like, because theoretically I would only tell people about it once it already had like a placement, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, I also don't want this to become like hard drive food. And I just sit on it forever. And I'm like, oh, remember that time I did that? And nothing ever happens with it.
Right.
So I'm like torn about it, but there's a lot of cool stuff in the works. Big things coming.
2024, get psyched.
Yeah, it's our year.
It's going to happen.
I am going to say that I don't think we're really going to tour this year besides the one. Like what I'm
Can
saying
I
is,
throw my speculation out?
go ahead.
Possibly because you'll be writing and focusing on a new album.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that. And here's what I'm going to say. I'll even take it a step further. When in 2019, we didn't tour that summer. We only toured at the beginning of the year when we opened for someone for like a month. And then we did the fandom tour at the end of the year, right? But that whole year, we got to make so many cool music videos and focus on like art, focus on making the like great songs, like the album art. Like, you know what I mean? If I was in fucking like Australia sleep deprived, I wouldn't be throwing Sunny D around my apartment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I just want to, and you know, the last couple of years, like 2021, obviously everyone was getting back into touring and all that. And we're still kind of working greatest hits and everything, but because it came out in like May, you know what I mean? So we still had to kind of like work on that. 2022 and 2023, we toured the whole time. You know what I mean? Like we were gone, like 2022 was like the prep year for like the album to come out. I was like, I want to open for everybody. I don't want to do like any headline shit. Then last year, all the headline shit. You know what I mean? And so I think in the long run, I'd rather just create more cool shit than, you know, wear out some more fucking tires, you know, and like just keep touring over and over and like grinding our shit into the ground. I'm like, no, man, like if cool shit comes up, like a festival thing, sure, we'll do that. We actually just got booked for like a festival I've always wanted to play. I can't say what it is yet. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
But it's something that bands who come from like the alternative space don't normally get the chance to do. But we're like, look at this shit. We just sold a lot of fucking tickets. Like, dude, we sold over 41,000 tickets for the property tour. So it's hard for promoters to ignore that. So we're like, look what we fucking did. Look what we did here. Book us on your shit. This is not some like 7-band bill type thing where it's like we're only filling out a 500 cap because all this is going on. It's like convincing people that you have value is such a crazy thing, but it's also like the good part of having a team to do it for you.
Right.
But it's exciting because like I don't want to keep doing the same shit. I never want to do that. I never want to get repetitive. And I want to, like, I don't know. I always just want to beat people's expectations. Like, I've seen so many singers come out with t-shirt brands, you know, and like they'll push that shit. And, you know, I'm not dissing them or anything. It's like good for them, like make money, whatever. That's never what I was trying to build. And I made that clear from the jump. I was like, you cannot just get a plain fucking Gildan shirt from me with this company. This is about fashion. And I'm going to show you that I can do this. Just watch. It was the same thing with Waterparks. I was like, it was always looking at everybody around and being like the local bands and being like, who's the best one? What do we need to do to be better than them? This and this, and we need this and this. Okay. You know, and it's always kind of like about taking those steps up. I just want to stay home and destroy people's expectations with things. And that's only going to happen if I'm operating at full mental capacity and I'm not jet lagged and exhausted all the time. You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the move. I think I just want to stay home and make the coolest shit ever. I want to make the best clothes and I want to succeed in that area. I want to make the coolest, most creative music, or even just write the best fucking songs. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people fucking hide behind production now. You know, like if you ask some of these people, like, hey, your song with fucking however many millions of streams and like internet hype and shit, that's all like crazy produced, play it on an acoustic. Like, I want to hear what the song is at the foundation. Like, what are the bones of that song? You know what I mean? It's like, I want to make shit that's like just the most undeniable fucking good stuff. And I think that, you know, it could come off as bad or like cocky or whatever, but I'm like, man, if I'm not able to have like confidence in the thing that I've dedicated my entire life to, then what the fuck can I have that in? You know, and I feel like the only people that ever bugs are like insecure people.
Right.
Or people that like have other shit going on and they don't like hearing that kind of thing. But that's just what I want to do. I just want to make the best shit in every like lane that I decide to try and do.
I'm sure you're going to crush it. And I feel like you haven't let us, the people, down in any avenue.
Appreciate that. Touch my finger.
And that's why every album, you could tell there's like passion and hard work in between it because you've created a world.
Dude, that's the thing. Every album needs a world. Like, dude, honestly, I want everyone to hear all these instrumentals because when I hear all the extra layers and stuff after I haven't listened in a while, I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, man, I need to shut the fuck up more because I want people to hear all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like all the like work and layers and everything that goes into it. It's fucking crazy. I need to do more track breakdowns.
Please.
Dude, that song has like one of the coolest instrumentals that we've ever fucking done. I listened to it yesterday because I even bounced that one out to where I can upload it on YouTube if I choose to at some point because I want people to hear the real super dark instrumentals so bad.
It's funny. I showed a DJ that song, and he was gonna just rip it and make a beat out of it. And
song.
I'm trying. I was pushing for it. It didn't happen yet. It might happen
yet,
but I'll let you know who after.
Please.
Cool. All right. Well, Austin, thanks for coming.
Dude, thank you for having me.
Waterparks. Go see him on tour. What's the dates?
Sneaking Out of Heaven tour, February 26th through April 6th.
Get psyched. Get hyped. They're coming to a city near you.
Get bricked.
Yeah. Lightweights. Oh. Thanks, Austin.
That's so good.